Hey guys, B8kd here. Today's just a little podcast style talk. These are going to be my top 10 things I think Eve Echoes should change to better improve the game. Now, these are all based off of my opinion and my play style, so some of these things might not make very much sense to you, but if you can, pick one of my 10 topics that I choose and leave a comment if you agree or disagree with that. All of the feedback I can send up. They might not ever listen to us, but this kind of gets us in the right direction on some things they can improve for at least the next balance update. Who knows when that will be? So let's go ahead and just get right into it. This is in no particular order. So I'm going to start off with my number one. And a lot of people always ask me why I don't roam in Null Sec. Now, Null Sec hunting is completely busted right now. If you guys have been in deep Null Sec, where most of the corps live, you hit your red scanner, you pull up anywhere from 5 to 12 targets. Now, when you start scanning all of those targets, they are all outposts, they're all citadels, they're all like pirate detection arrays. It is so hard to find somebody in nullsec before they warp to their outpost and get away. It's almost not even fun. That's why most pirates, they hunt in low sec, and it's easier to decipher where they're at in a belt or an anomaly. Do you think they're running a story? It's just a lot easier to hunt there. Now, that doesn't go without saying. I go to nullsec all the time. I think I scanned through about 40 systems the other night, and I got one kill. I scanned, I looked very closely on the map. I found a miner, so I found somebody in a mining belt that got away or cloaked, and then I found somebody in an inquisitor, just because I zoomed in my map. But I think that needs to change. I think when you use your red scanner, if you've already scanned that location, it shouldn't make you redo the signal waves. Or there should be two categories. There should be one for like structures, so you don't keep rescanning the same structures over and over, and then one for ships or anomalies. There could be three categories, or they could just tell you on the thing, is it a structure you're scanning before you decipher your wavelengths. You can also do that with anomalies. You can scan, and you can see out of like 1 out of 3 waves, and one says a dead space, but you cannot access that dead space until you scan it. So you know there's a dead space, but nobody can access it, or something along those lines. But scanning in nullsec is completely busted and needs to change. That brings us to number 2. Now, I think that the events have been absolutely garbage. They do not entice anybody to play. It doesn't entice new players. I'm not excited about the events. The only event that I have enjoyed since that Halloween event, which was by far the best event. I think we can all agree on that. That was the best for hunting. That was the best for if you're trying to get some good ISK, try to get good modules. It was a lot of damn fun. But the events suck. Do not do any more void spaces. When those void spaces happen, you scan low sec systems, and there are 10 to 20 void spaces you have to sift through. It ruins low sec hunting. It makes null sec hunting even worse. Nobody does the void spaces. It's an absolute garbage event style. I don't think they should do any more events based on Nihilist space unless it's something intricate, rare, or fun. One thing I actually kind of enjoyed was the double ratting loot and double chance of relic sites. That enticed me to go out hunting relic hunters. That enticed me to go out in my scanning ship and go try to make some ISK. I had a lot of fun doing it, but Since then, everything has been garbage. So our event system needs to change. I don't know how or what to recommend, other than they need to get a little bit more knowledgeable about what people want. And, these events, I think, are key in keeping players around. They go months and months without content, but you need to put events in the middle, even for a week, to get me to log back in, try the event out, and have a little bit of fun playing the game. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Events need to change. This is going to bring us into number 3. Now, this is more so for all of the bugs in the game. Now, there are a few that really bother me, and a few that really bother large corps that need adjusting. Of course, the black screening. It hasn't just been affecting Giant Wars, it's been affecting me as well. I'm solo roaming or small fleet roaming, and I'll send a fleet command, and 2 of my interceptors that are supposed to be assisting my tackle, they black screen and crash and warp away. So it's not... I'm not sure if it's because it's just a large scale like battle that those guys are crashing, but I think it's based off of the fleet system. And I think something internally in there is causing people to black screen, but it is not enjoyable for large corps and small corps right now. Something's black screening us, something's causing our games to freeze, something's causing our modules to shut off. Like, my warp scrams constantly shut off in low sec, and I'll lose tackles all the time. I know some people say that never happens to you, but I PvP pretty much all day long, and out of about 10 tackles, 3 of them my scram shut off. And if I don't have my Scepters that got black screen there to tackle with me, I lost potentially half an hour to an hour just searching for targets. And yeah, it's frustrating. But that doesn't go without saying. There's a lot of other bugs in the game, and they also need to be fixed. So that's something you can put in the comments. What bug has been affecting you the most? What is the most pesky bug that just pisses you off? But that's going to bring us to number 4. Now, I think that aside from events, I thought of this just off the top of my head, and there could be a million other things you can choose, but I think that Null Sec should be a little bit more dangerous than it is. Of course, there are gate camps, you can get bubbled, but I think that there should be roaming pirates, or certain areas getting overrun by pirates only in non-sov space. Or you can put it in sov space, but I think that there should be pirates on the gates randomly. So if you're warping through, maybe there's alert in once you enter the system. This system has been overrun by pirates. Be careful warping through. And there could be a pirate with a bubble out. There could be a pirate that tackles you really quick and you need to fight your way through the gate. I don't think I should be able to just warp freely through Null Sec in most cases, and I think that would be pretty cool. Put that somewhere else in my list here, but potentially you could have good loot in those systems that got overrun. I'm not sure if you should include it in sov space or not, but if you didn't include it in sov space, like out of sov, like the lower Null Sec levels, they should say this area has been overrun by pirates, take out these special anomalies or kill the pirates in a certain amount of systems, and you get like a loot chest at the end, like a single Inquisitor chest. You can pull it up on the map, so when you open up the map, I know it's kind of small here, but this will, say this area of Germinate has been overrun with pirates, clear the pirate infection, and get a certain amount of loot. Yeah, I realized I've been on the wrong screen the whole time. I wanted to be in the cockpit, but I'm already halfway through talking, so we're going to leave it as it is. But I would say that would be a cool factor. It would keep things interesting because you never know when your system will be overrun with pirates. You'll get people from Null Sec heading into Germinate to go fight those pirates for a special chance of loot. You know, you can have gates camps set up on every one of these gates, so that would entice PvP for small corps or big corps. They could come from, you know, their end of the place, Tenal, all the way down here, camp the entire area, and their corp could take out all of the infection and take all of the loot. I think that would be pretty fun, but I think it needs to be rotating, and I don't think it should appear like in Fountain. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't, but I don't think controlled space, because they could just farm the anomalies and get rich. But if it was like every other day roaming, it wouldn't matter. Put it here, put it there. Maybe people come out here and try to hunt the people doing it. But that would give this game a cool aspect where you could, you know, go outside of just ratting and storylines. You could go hunt the people trying to do those. But I think that would be cool. That's something I would add to the game. And it would probably never happen, but it's a good idea in my opinion. So, that brings us to number 5. I think all T10 story missions should be in low sec, not in high sec. I think the amount of ISK should be improved on them. As it stands, let me just switch my screen. You see all of the stories, and I'm not T10 on this account, so I can't select the T10. But the only stories that are in low sec are the big dollar amounts, the like the 2 or 3 million or the 20 million ones to finalize that, you know, that storyline banner, like seizing the chance. That's the low sec one. All these ones are in high sec, and you can do them kind of freely. But I think they should remain in high sec on advanced and hard. But when you go to expert, I think they should all be in low sec. You know, I think their reward should be increased a little bit too, so anybody willing to do those T10 experts should have a lot of risk and a lot of reward. I think that would be really cool for the game. It would entice low sec hunters. It would entice more people to rat, so you'd have less of a chance of getting attacked. You name it. I think that would be an awesome idea. I also think there should be... actually, let's back up really quick. So there are some areas in the game that are completely dead. And I'm stuck on a part of my series, my one kill rules them all series. But this half of the map is completely dead. There's nobody out there. There might be like 1 or 2 people hidden out here, but I have warped hundreds of systems without seeing a single person. And I'm not sure if they know the population's dwindling, so they kind of centralized everything kind of around here. But half of the map is completely dead. There's no more low sec corps. You know, maybe out on the gate going to Fountain, but there are literally no low sec corps out here that I could find. And, you know, I'm not sure if they can fix that, but, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Maybe if the population grew, or they put more fun things to do, or maybe the story missions just suck out here so nobody does them. I don't know, but the population is dwindling in that aspect. Now, what else did I write here? I also think there should be a very high risk story missions in Null Sec. I think that would be a good idea. They need to fix scanning before you start doing these, because you'll hit 1,000 outposts and never find the person. But I think there should be a huge reward, like a 5x times on these encounters, and they should not be available in soft space. I do not think that's a good idea, putting it in a big corporation area where they can just continuously farm it over and over. They can go ratting, but I think they should come out to the lower areas of Null Sec to do that story mission for, you know, your banner quest. Or it will just pay so much you'll just want to do the easy T10s in the area, like Germinate, Syndicate, Lower Providence, just all the areas, Great Wildlands, where there are no solved areas. So that will bring the people that want to rat or do these stories from Paragon Soul all the way down to Providence and try to do a story mission. That's going to get the creepers that all they do is sit in the middle of Fountain ratting by themselves all day. They'll bring them in a little bit. We got to like centralize them. I think it would be fun to do a Null Sec story. Keep people on the edge. You know, you'll be out there. You probably want to gear up for PvP when you're ratting or doing that T10 so you can fight back. But I think that will give a lot of variety to the game. But that's all I have to say for that topic. Let's move on to number 6. Well, you know, number 6 actually was bringing Null Sec missions to non-soft space. So we are going to skip right through to number 7. So I think that the game is going more towards saving people's lives. There are more warp stabs being added to nanocores, and there are less warp jamming strength every day, it seems like. Alright, you know what I mean. But I think they should add let's say a B-type Predator warp disruptor. You have to do it the same way as you get a B-type. You got like a 35% chance, but it will increase that Predator to a B-type Predator warp jammer. That will make them very expensive, and it will make them very in demand. Everybody wants more jamming strength. We need a way to counter how many stabs people are getting. There's some ships that is like 24. If they got those 1 cores that give just tons of warp stabs and paid money for them, so be it. They paid a lot of money for those cores, but that is like a 24 jamming strength ship. They're never going to die. We need a way to combat it, and there should be a good medium. You know, I shouldn't be able to have 24 points on one ship, but I should have just a little bit more than I should now if I want to pay the ISK for it. So a B-type Predator might be absolutely great. They could just add another tier, the Predator 2 Warp Jammer. We definitely need Predator Warp Scrams back. We need that 5 jamming strength. I don't think they should be easy to get. I think they should be around 500 mil if the game is properly, if they're reintroduced properly, to say the least. I think that's a good price for a Predator Warp Scram with the 5 jamming strength. Then you can go into the B-type Predator Warp Jammer, or the Warp Scrambler, and that will give 6 points. And if somebody really wants to pay that much money, they're going to do it. And I'm probably going to do it. I don't usually die too often on my tackle ships, so I will invest a buttload of money to get just a little bit more warp jamming strength. I think that Aura Warp Cores should be locked behind higher tier chests. I don't think they should be 2 mil. I think all of them should be a little bit more expensive. I think if you want to stab your ship out, you can't just do it for free. I know the Warp Core Optimizer rigs are a buttload, but it's not too big of a deal about the Aura Warp Cores. I think if the good balance between warp stabs and warp jamming strength comes in, or even just adding a nano core, who knows, for the tackle ships, which NetEase doesn't know what the tackle ships are, but hopefully we'll just get lucky one day and it will appear on one of my ships that I fly and have an extra jamming strength. So that's probably the way they're going to introduce it. They're probably not going to just give us a module we can build ourselves. They're probably going to monetize it, and they're going to put it behind a very expensive monetized nanocore that costs $1,000 to get and then $1,000 to upgrade to the point where it's actually usable. But you know what I'm getting at there, and we're just going to move on to our number 8. This is going to be something that bugs me a little bit. Now, when we are in Null Sec, and let's say a ship enters the system and you're bubbling the gate that he's warping to. He enters a warp, and then you pop your bubble. That ship does not get pinged by your bubble. He will warp right through it. I think that if you pop a bubble before he gets to your bubble, I think he needs to be trapped in that bubble. I know it's a very niche situation, but there has been times where I've seen someone enter the system. I immediately pop my bubble, but it's like a Cinnable or a Dramiel, and they've already entered warp, and they warp right through it. I don't think that should be the case. I think that if you pop your bubble before they reach it, I think they should be trapped in it. So yeah, that is number 8. Number 9, we are going to go into rigs and such that could potentially be added to benefit the game. First off, I think we should have drone disruptors. The meta currently is long-range drone ships like Prophecies and Dominixes, and I think a drone disruptor is without balancing the entire game, I think a drone disruptor will be a good medium to kind of chill out those ships a little bit. They're everywhere. That's all they use. They're 100 kilometers out. You tackle them, and their drones are so fast. But I think the drone disruptor, I'm not sure if it should reduce the damage that they do. I'm not sure if it should reduce the speed, like the velocity of the drones, or the tracking speed of the drones, making it harder to hit fast-moving ships. And if I were to just take a guess, I would say the tracking speed, because it would go in line with the missile and the tracking disruptors for cannons and stuff. But I think they need to just add that little tiny module. Don't make it too overpowered, but just make it enough to get the edge on some of those ships and be able to fight back if you're 1v1ing one of those ships. Next up are rigs. I would recommend adding a warp jamming rig. Now, that type of rig could go in line with like the nanocore I was talking about them adding, giving you more warp jamming strength, or the modules like the B-type Predator modules. I think that there should be a rig that increases your warp jamming strength by a little bit. I think maybe a tier 1 can do 0.35, so you would need 3 of them on your electronics slot, which would completely neuter, most frigates. A tier 2 should be 0.5, so you can do 2 of them, and a tier 3 should be a 1 jamming strength bonus, and that goes for scrams and disruptors. I think that it shouldn't increase all of the disruptors. That might be too overpowered, but it could. But let's say you have 4 points and you add 1 tier 3 rig, you would get 5 points total. The other way you can look at it is it gives 1 point to each of your jammers, which would be from 4 to 6 just in one module or one rig. And that might be feasible, but we would have to do a lot of testing, or the devs would have to do a lot of testing to make sure it's not too overpowered. But I think that should be added if they don't add B-type Predator disruptors, or if they don't reinduce Predator scrams. Next up, I think tracking rigs should be added. Now, I think they should give a little bit of tracking bonus, like 5, 10, 15% maybe. That's not going to make it that overpowered. But what I am struggling with right now is speed is the meta for most frigates. You have to have over a certain speed threshold to do anything. Tank weapon systems, tank drones, you name it. But I think that if you're going too fast in most of these, like a Daredevil, your rifled railguns are not going to hit. If you're going 5,000 meters a second, I think they should do some testing. And let's say you add 1 or 2 tracking rigs, you should be able to hit going at those speeds. So you would then have to choose, do you want a tracking rig, a damage rig, or a a defensive rig? Tracking rigs could equal to more DPS, more applicable DPS, if you know what I'm talking about. But they need to add tracking rigs. I would also be kind of wary if a battleship had 3 tier 3 tracking rigs on it, if it could hit frigates going certain speeds, like over 5,000. So you don't want to make it too overpowered, but you need just a little bit more tracking on some of these guns to be able to actually use them in today's world. There's a lot of ships that aren't being used at all because of the meta shift, and I think the tracking rigs are good, so that needs to be added. The other one, it's kind of niche, and it might not be viable, but the core defense charge economizer, the shield boost amount rig, I think should apply to shield extenders. Now, you can look at the other side. Oh, why don't you just put 30% increased shield on your ship? That's not the same when you're in a long battle. Let's say you get 30% on a shield extender. That's let's just say it has 1,000 extend amount, and you get 300 per shield boost extra when you equip that rig. I think that is a good idea. I'm not sure if it would make those triple extender ships way overpowered, but in the long run, I think that would be a good change. It's going to give you a little bit of shield, extra shield each time you pop that extender, but shield extenders really have no rigs that affect them. The capacitor rig doesn't affect them. The economizer doesn't affect them. So the only viable thing people use them on is just triple extender ravens and stuff. But it might be cool. I think it makes some ships a little bit over tanky, and it could kind of balance things. I don't know. That's just kind of an extra thing. Now, the last and final thing, number 10. This is going into Scepters, and I know this is a talking point for everybody, and I have my own opinions on this, and I'm sure you all have your own opinions. But I don't think Scepters need a DPS nerf. Most Scepters don't apply very good DPS going the speeds that they go. You can try to argue with me on that. If you put snubs on an Atron, you're going to kill every frigate you see, but you're not going to be able to attack anything else. You go and put rifleds on that Atron, you can't hit anything because you're going 4,000, 5,000 meters a second. Oh, you could slow your speed down and hit a little bit better, but then you'll get absolutely shredded or one-banged by whatever's shooting you. So, I don't think Scepters need a DPS nerf. They are very expensive as they are, the Interceptors too. And if you build them expensive, they should be able to kill anything that's under 1.6 billion ISK. I have a Condor Interceptor 2 that I've invested over 2 bill. I think with my B types on it and C types, it's coming in at like 5 bill. I think I should be able to kill just about anything in that ship. Do you think I should kill a 900 million ISK Dominix battleship? Hell yes, because I built it way more expensive. My DPS is pretty good, but if you're doing a reg fit Condor 2, you probably aren't getting the effect that you should, can or whatever. But I don't think they need a DPS nerf if you put the money into it. But we do need a way of countering these interceptors. Now, there needs to be a way of catching them on gates. Now, this way of catching interceptors should be very expensive, and it has a high chance of failing. Let's say you can put a smart bomb on a gate for, in a 10-kilometer range, so you could do it like a drag bubble. You want to make sure you're in line with the gate, so it's not way overpowered. You actually have to use some skill to do it. You pop your smart bomb in the path of an interceptor, and it has a 10% chance of blowing up on impact. Now, it could do anywhere from, 1,000 damage to, 10,000 or something. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that smart bomb could cost 50 million per attempt or something, or make it something that industrialists can craft, so they have something to go out and mine for. They should have to go get sulfur or something. But I think they need to be countered somehow. Everybody uses interceptors to warp everywhere scouting, and there's no way to stop them unless they're stupid and you get them on a gate or something. But they need to be stopped. I wouldn't, I don't know, because I'd probably get blown up on a Null Sec gate, but I would be like, wow, somebody spent 100 mil to get me, and the 10% chance, and then a 5% chance to do the correct damage to me. I think that would be absolutely awesome. I'd buy 1,000 smart bombs and just go scepter hunting. I'd get lucky eventually. I also think scepters should not be able to use a cloak. I think that should just be banned from scepters. I don't think they should warp in free willy to whatever system they want and just cloak and watch. I think that should be for covert op ships only. I don't think something that can run bubble camps should be able to use a cloak, in my opinion. Now, last but not least, I think there should be a way to scan cloaked targets. If somebody's in the system and they're cloaked, I think that you should be able to scan them at a penalty. So you need a better ship to scan them, and they should be notified if they are scanned so they can get out of there, or if they're AFK, you should be able to scan and blap them. But let's say you need a minimum scan of 100 to get that ship uncloaked. I think it should go down to 80 when he's cloaked. I think it should be a very hard wavelength, like a 2 or even 3 wavelength, depending on your skills. So it should be hard for them to get scanned, but I think you should be able to detect those people. I know the whole point is scouting systems and stuff, but I don't think that should be a thing. I think that's a little bogus, just being able to, without penalty, warp into a system and cloak and just sit there and watch like a loser. But yeah, that is my 10 things I think I should change. I think we should change about Eve Echoes to make Eve Echoes great again. Remember to leave all of your comments below. I do read them all and I will like them, and any good ideas or changes to my ideas will go into a little folder, and I will be sending this up along with my video. And it's a wet dream. I don't think anybody's gonna watch it that has anything to do with anything, but we got to start talking about what needs to change to stop losing people in this game. There's been a huge shift in people quitting in my corp, your corp, everybody's corp, and it sucks. I love Eve Echoes and I don't want to quit playing, but You know, if the game dies in the future because the devs just are blind or don't play the game or something, it's really going to suck. And we need to open their eyes and go from there. Now, on a extra number 11 topic, I wanted to just throw in at the end. For free-to-play players, I think all content should be unlocked for them. I don't think they should have restrictions like that. But when you're free-to-play, you get SP so slow, I think that should be your penalty for being free-to-play. You cannot play this game free-to-play at all. It is not... Some people do. Some people make their ISK and buy Omega with that, but I don't think you should use your ISK to buy Omega. I think that you should be able to do all content. You should have all weapon systems unlocked. You know, if you imagine I'm free to play, it takes, I think, 2 or 3 months just to hit tier 7. On this account, I have been playing... I'm not sure if I can see when I created myself. I know there's an easy way to find it, but I'm too stupid to find it right now. But I think this is a 6 to 8 month old account, and I am tier 7 still. And I can't go past tier 7, but 3 million SP. That's like another 4 or 5 months or something. You should just unlock all the content for me. Just let me play the game. I'm already at a negative not having any good modules or any good skills like scanning. They just need to unlock all of the content. This will bring tons of more people. Could bring noobs in. It will bring flocks of people in, knowing that they can play Eve Echoes. And later, if they want to spend a little bit of money and get Omega, increase your SP gaining rate, so be it. You might get those people locked into this game in a couple months, and then they want to start spending money. It's going to make you money. It's going to make more people come to the game, and I think it's overall great. But this has been almost a 40-minute video. I'm going to try to set some place markers, which I should have said that at the beginning. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one, but I had to get all of this out, and there could be tons of more things you can change about the game, but remember, leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to throw the video a like, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.